Okay, so here's my question. Are these cities coming back because the general economy of America is coming back, or is Route 66, is tourism bringing them back?
All of the above, but weight it towards tourism, the fact that we finally got the bureaucracies, the federal government and the National Park Service, and certainly the state governments, the tourist bureaus behind this thing. It's on the tourist maps. The road's signed again. We have signage up in all 8 states. It varies. In some states the signage is better. Of course, it's marvelous in Illinois. Mm-hmm. But when you get the establishment behind this movement, whether you like it or not, it helps every movement. Also, people have discovered you don't have to be a purist. It's a commercial road. Mm-hmm. When the purists from the association come up to me and say, "Oh, it's getting so commercial, this movement," I say, "Nonsense. It's people trying to turn a buck. Sell you an enchilada platter, a handful of postcards, a tank full of gas, a peek at the snake pit." It's always been a commercial road, and if it's to survive, it needs to remain commercial. So that's what it's all about. All this merchandising of 66 is very important to its life.
Some of the small companies in America that are started by guys and women in their 20s right now, telecommunications companies, are starting to move away from big cities, like out of Seattle, out of California, and I at least some of what I've read is that they're moving it back into places like Iowa and Kansas. Do you see any of it, or do you foresee maybe some of these small hardware and software companies maybe moving into small towns out of the big cities?
I do see that movement, that industrial movement, and the small industrial parks in the Main Street America. And I think a lot of it is this unbelievably overused term, family values, that's banded around so damn much. This is the real family values. This isn't the political stuff that you hear in Washington. This is the real thing. And these guys and gals are smart enough to say, I want to have my family grow up in this town where they have Kool-Aid stands and soft ball games, and there's a drive-in movie and car hops and a jukebox and so forth. And it's sort of buying into that whole thing. But it's fine, and it's good. And on the practical side, there's a market for labor and so forth, so
these are the same kids who are into Tony Bennett now. I'm talking about people in there. I'm 51 years old, guys.
I'm 51 too. Also into Mick Jagger and into Joplin and so forth. The children, as we are, of the 60s, we're coming back. We've mellowed a little bit,
and our kids. See, our kids, they don't want to be sitting in Denver and have bullets whizzing over their head or dealing with especially if you can telecommute. If you can have a job where you can go and move your whole company of maybe 30 people, why not?
You got a modem, you're out on the mother road.
And you can live on Route 66.
That's right. Yeah. With loud pipes and ptomaine poisoning.
Kind of ptomaine poisoning. Well, let's not bring that up.
May I invite you into the sanctuary?
We'll come in.
Thank you, Ann, for that generous introduction. Thank you, Pastor, for your explicit instructions about the restroom. Not to mention the prayer. Both are very important. I'm always delighted to be before an audience in my adopted state of Oklahoma. This time last week I was before about 1,000 people, and it was a good rousing time. And I actually enjoy these smaller venues, although this is a good generous turnout here today. I have all the literary figures of Pryor before me. And I was so pleased that when I broke the threshold of the door of this church, the architecture didn't tumble down around me being an old fallen Lutheran and such. But I must tell you that I come from a long line of preachers. My great-great-great-grandfather was the first graduate of the old Concordia Seminary, which now resides in St. Louis. I didn't get the call to go out and preach that gospel. Instead, I preached the gospel, if you will, of Route 66 and the Mother Road, and I enjoy that very much. Before I share
about me and about some times that might help you understand the process of writing. It's important for you to know that ever since I was a little boy, that I have believed in ghosts and trusted in angels, and nothing's changed. We continue to have frequent visits in the lofty Sangre de Cristo Mountains of northern New Mexico, on the remnants of the old Santa Fe Trail, on the Lincoln Highway, on the Tamiami Trail, on Highway 101, on what I can find that's left of the old Chisholm, but especially on the well-worn shoulders of Route 66, that path for Dust Bowl migrants, for GIs, for vacationers, for bandits, for dreamers. Truly a long village, a linear village, starting at the Loop in Chicago and running all the way to the roaring Pacific.
At Billy Ray's Barbecue, this is where they keep the catfish, right in there, folks. Meow! 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 Well, we're outside Oklahoma. They're expecting tornadoes tonight. We've got the little scanner here for the U.S. weather. Not good on Route 66. May see a twister. They thought we were tornado chasers, but we're not. We got all the gear in here, incidentally. Look, got the radio, two-way radio for anything. Buzz buster here in case we get stopped. Actually, it's an escort. Works pretty good. Got the car phone in case we get in trouble right down here. See it? Yeah. Car phone. Good. Right here. Look at this. Bad weather, folks. Continuing on Route 66 for the tornadoes.
That 66 highway is a hard old road. All day you're burning and all night you freeze. But we gotta have work, so we're taking a chance from old Oklahoma to Los Angeles, where the wind it blows and the dust gets black, and now we're known as refugees, and we're stranded now on that 66 highway from old Oklahoma to Los Angeles. Yeah, from old Oklahoma to Los Angeles.
Hey, we're at the Holiday Motel here in Stroude, Oklahoma. Old cowboy town. The Rock Cafe's here, but look at these nice digs. Look at nice bed again. That's first class. Come on in, I'll show you the room. Very first class. Gas fire. Look at the nice love seat we have here to sit in. This is nice. We got nice, like color TV, nice curtains and everything. Check the bathroom out. This is really cool. Come on in. Route 66. The old-fashioned way. Yeah, come on in here. Oh, that kind of runs all the time. Nice paint and everything. This is a, ain't exactly the Holiday Inn, but what the hell. It's Route 66 and it's authentic. As long as no bugs sleep with me, I hope I'll be all right. I don't know. Let's just check it. You think anybody else has slept in this bed? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. there's a hair in there. That's not a good sign. Look how clean it is. Look in the corners. You, baby. Right. Here at the Rock Cafe in Stroude, Oklahoma. You know, when you travel Route 66, one of the things that you can do, and we have certainly done it, is you get rid of your wrist watches, right? No watches. No timetable. You just kind of run the road. And no interstates. Even if you just do Oklahoma or only one state. Now, we are in Oklahoma. We left Chicago 7 days ago. It's taken us 7 days to come this far, to go through Illinois, Missouri, and about half of Oklahoma. And suddenly the timetables, you just throw them out the door. Here are the historic, famous Rock Cafe. When you come through Stroude, you want to stop here. A lot of chat, lots of coffee. They're not open here this morning. And, you know, for motels and places to stay, you can find some nice ones. I suggest you check the rooms out before you stay there, even if they're cheap. Like the Wagon Wheel was pretty reasonable. Some of the other places. We stayed at a place tonight, though, you know, it's $30. Man, oh man, it was a dump. They should have cleaned the place up. The Holiday Motel. But so my suggestion is check the rooms out, even if you're tired. I didn't. It was a mistake. We've done that a couple times. And there are, you know, plenty of motels where you can stay pretty inexpensively. Right here on Route 66. It's a spring rainy day, 1997. Jann Scott tonight. Our American road trip continues. This is a beautiful band shell here in Stroude. It's an old one. They've remodeled it, repainted it. Good place to have band concerts. You know, we should have something like this in Boulder. We have that goofy band shell from the 30s. How about something like this? Isn't this nice? Just look at it. It's a nice big circular. Put a little tuba band up here for 4th of July. So, what's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Dan Guthers, Stroude, Oklahoma.
Stroude, Oklahoma. You have racehorses?
I did have. I don't know more. I've retired from racing. I've had some good ones. There's been some good runners that come out of Stroude, Oklahoma. And people more or less, when I was running, run quarter horses. Maybe the farthest they'd run would be like 870. 440 yards, 870.
Did you make any money with racehorses?
I made good money with it. And I lost some, but I made good money at it.
What's the biggest amount you ever made with racehorses?
I'd rather not give that away.
Come on.
No, I can't do that.
He's one of the wealthiest guys in town, right here in Stroude, Oklahoma.
No.
Big racehorse guy. He not only raced them, he owned them, and I don't know.
Yeah, I owned them, trained them, but I made good money at it. I really did, and the horse business was good to me.
How long you been out here on Route 66?
I've been here since 1965.
See, this is the old alignment here of Route 66. You can tell it's not very wide. Look at this. There are no shoulders to it. Very, very narrow. They say it's about 8 feet wide. Look at my truck here, which is about 6 or 7 feet wide. An 18-wheeler could hardly make it here. This was a dangerous road in the 1920s. It was built for Model A's that went about 45 miles an hour. Old-style trucks. You wouldn't want to drive on this today. Just aim it right at me. This what happens to people on Route 66, the old highway, narrow bridge and everything, or whatever, and crash right into one of these things. And
well, they just put that up.
You
know, they just put this up here last year.
Did they?
Yeah. See, they, you know, it's this supposed to improve. You know, this highway. You know.
Fill them with water would help.
Yeah.
Oh, you know they did.
They've been a pickup. There was a pickup come in here one night, hit the end of it, and laid right over there and killed one and injured another one bad.
How long ago was that?
About 3 years ago. And then here's down. You can see down here that bent rail. There was a bad wreck right down there last year. There was a bad wreck down there last year, right down. You can see down there where they hit the
I bet they've been having bad wrecks here since the highway's been in, huh?
Well, they have. Every time you turn around, there's somebody had a wreck here. Right on the other side.
How long you been living on here on Route 66?
Oh, we've lived there since '69.
Oh yeah. Guess you've seen about everything out here, huh?
Yeah.
What's the strangest story you've seen out here on the highway? Besides car wrecks, you got a funny one?
People's cows being out and giving a lot of problems.
Oh, is that right? Cows?
Yeah. Yeah.
We came across Jim Ross, who did this map series we've been using all along the highway. We just happened to drive by his new house here in, where am I?
Well, you're actually just outside of Arcadia, Oklahoma, about a mile east of Arcadia. And this stretch of road right here is original Route 66. It was paved in 1928. And the road type construction is a little bit unusual. It's a concrete base with a rock asphalt surface. And most of Oklahoma highway was paved in Portland concrete. This is just a little bit different here.
Now, you know, how do we know that you're Jim Ross? I mean, you could just be another psychopath that we met along Route 66 and said, yeah, I did this map series. A lot of people have claimed a lot of things. One guy claimed he was a big horse race person, and I didn't believe him for not a heartbeat.
Well, I guess the best way to establish my credibility is to let you know that I'm co-author of the map series with artist and road historian Jerry McClanahan of Corsicana, Texas. I also published a guidebook to Oklahoma Route 66 called Oklahoma Route 66, The Cruiser's Companion. And I'm also a staff writer for Route 66 magazine. So, if you doubt me, you could call the magazine, talk to Paul Taylor, and maybe he'll vouch for me.
Yeah, if we have to connect the picture and the person.
Right.
He can show me his ID, but we're not going to get into that. Nice house, right here in rural part of Oklahoma.
I was very fortunate to find this property. I bought this property about a little over a year ago. And I have frontage on both the historic alignment of the highway and the upgrade alignment, or the alignment that's used today, which is now State Highway 66, which is right out here. And so I'm building a new home that I hope to move into soon, and I have modeled the front of the house after a 1929 Phillips 66 gas station.
You have a children's book coming out?
I have just contracted to do a children's book or young adult book, sports book on the Great Bunyan Derby of 1928, which was won by a part Cherokee Indian from Oklahoma. In fact, he was from Foyle, Oklahoma, Andy Payne, and as you know, Foyle is a Route 66 town, so there's a strong tie in there.
The race went from, where did it go from?
The race began in Los Angeles in March of 1928, and it ended at Madison Square Garden in New York City.
What did they do, run up to Chicago and then run to...
They took 66 all the way to Chicago, and from there on across Ohio and some other states and into New York. It was about a 3-month race.
Paid $25,000 back then.
Right, it was called C.C. Pyle's first annual international transcontinental foot race, and the grand prize was $25,000.
I think we should do another one.
I think that's a great idea.
We need a corporate sponsor. Several $1 million.
I'm ready.
So what inspired you to do this series, and tell us about how difficult it was to do the map series?
The map series was not extremely difficult because myself and Jerry McClanahan had already spent a number of years doing some detailed mapping and historic charting of the highway and all the various alignments. So we already had a lot of information. The map series came about out of necessity, really. Mm-hmm. We didn't feel like there was a comprehensive, accurate tour guide for today's tourists to get out, travel the highway, know they're on Route 66, and be able to just fold it out, have it in their lap in the car, and be able to get really good practical use out of it. So we blended the best-known alignments that are drivable today with as much of the historic alignment as we could, and the result is the map series.
Now, is this section here in the map?
I believe it is.
It is not. Is it in the... we didn't find it.
I can tell you that we purposely left out certain loops and stretches that are either maybe not real safe to drive on, or they come to a dead end, or they may cause some kind of motoring problem. I believe this is in there.
Okay, let's dig it up.
I could be wrong.
Okay, find it.
It better be in here. It might not be.
Let's see.
I stand corrected.
No, wait a minute. What about the instructions?
You have to remember, though...
The artist didn't put it in, but you weren't the artist. You were the writer.
Because of the small scale that we're dealing with, even though it may not be depicted, it could be in the written instructions.
Let's see if it's in the written part.
And let's get down here to... wait a minute. I have an excuse. I don't have my glasses on.
Yeah, either do I.
Warwick, Wellston. I stand corrected. It's not depicted. However...
And we know why, because he didn't want people coming by like us to say, aren't you Jim Ross? No.
Not at all.
No, there are an awful lot of parts, but you can see them. I mean, it's pretty obvious that when they turn up. And it kind of, if you made it a foolproof adventure, then it wouldn't be an adventure at all.
And actually, to help make up for the reduced scale that we had to use, we give tips in here in the narrative on how to look for the older sections how to find them. And surprisingly, this one's pretty easy to spot, as you found out.
Very easy. I mean, we looked over and said it's 8 foot wide on each side. That was made for a Model A or Model T.
Right.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
That's fine. Oddly enough, one interesting small anecdote about this particular loop of road is that when the Highway Department first purchased the right-of-way for this, which was in 1924, 2 years before Route 66 became official, they purchased a right-of-way that was 66 feet wide. And I know that because it's in the abstract to my property.
Oh, and that's why they called it Route 66?
Not at all.
Oh.
We know better than that.
I don't know.
You know better than that.
What do I know? I don't know anything. Good thing they didn't call it 666.
Right, that's right. But I am hopeful that living out here, I'll be able to meet a lot of people like yourself and other tourists that come through and be able to interact more with the people that I call the Route 66.
Yeah, the house, you have to find it by accident.
Right.
Pretty much, but you can't miss because it says Route 66 in your house. Huh?
Get your kicks on Route 66. It winds from Chicago to Rome. More than 2,000 miles all the way. Get your kicks on Route 66.
Can you tell me the story of the barn real quick?
Well, the barn was built in 1898 by William Harris Odom. Well, 3 other people down the line has took over this barn, and they done this and that, cutting in windows, doors, here and there. What messed this barn up was the big doors that was cut out on the north side, and upstairs was so high on the door, the whole barn twisted to one side, and that's what caused the barn to cave in.
It's a round barn.
round.
You don't see many round barns around, though, do you?
Oh, there's a bunch of them. We got one more in Muskogee,
Mm-hmm.
but the one in Salisal is a 16-sided barn. Plus, we got barns over down there of all kinds of different places. There's a guy that came with taking pictures up and down Route 66.
Yeah.
And he stopped by over there next door and wanted to know if we could be all right to take our pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, but can I shave?
There you are. Let's see, right there. No, he wouldn't let you shave, would he?
No, I just want me to be like I am.
Uh-huh.
After he passed through Arcadia and Edmond, the busy traffic of Oklahoma City loomed ahead. He turned the car around and drove back to Tulsa. He stuck to the free road, and he hummed the song and some others he could recall most of the way back. He switched off the air conditioner, rolled down the windows. Summer air rushed through the car. That night, the old man ate a big supper at a cafe he liked, and he went to bed and dreamed of being a boy in the Canadian river bottoms before he moved to the city, of his wedding day, and of other times that only returned to him in sleep. When he opened his eyes the next morning, the first thing the old man saw was the jar filled